For example, this happened in New York. The mayor of New York has an interracial son, and he said he feared for his son's life because he know this could have been his son. So the New York Police Union came out and criticized the mayor, right? And so I'm sitting there thinking, like, wasn't Jay-Z sitting there with the mayor of New York about 5-6 years ago? And he sold crack. But now, I mean, I'm not trying to blame
the daddy.
Come on.
You know, a friend of mine made a similar comment, you know, speaking on, and it was a good point. It was a hell of a point. I'm not tripping. Made a hell of a point. We have a lot of celebrities who are very vocal on international issues, on issues of human rights abuses.
And they don't know shit.
And whatever. And we haven't heard anything from Angelina Jolie. How many black kids does she have?
We ain't gonna hear nothing until one of her black kids gets stopped by the police.
How many? Look at Madonna. She got black kids and she called her white kids nigga. We haven't heard anything from these people. Certain artists are criticizing people like Iggy Azalea got blasted because she ain't got nothing to say, even though she quote unquote hijacking this quote black culture. I'm saying hijacking black culture because that shit is not my culture. I've been black a long time before she started doing that shit. So that's not my culture. But since they're going to say quote unquote black culture. And they're talking about these people. But you know what? Like you're saying, these, the Jay-Z's of the world, the Sam Jacksons of the world, the Denzel Washingtons of the world have to look their children dead and square in the eye and say, you know what?
We contributed to this.
This shit is part my fault. We're not the reason, but it's part my fault.
We contributed to it.
I helped this happen.
We contributed to it because if you watch Law and Order or any TV shows, black crime is portrayed differently. It really is. They rarely show black victims, so no one has sympathy for the black, especially the young black man. That's why this case with Eric Garner is so unique, because it was an older black man who was married, kids, 2 cool kids, you know, and his wife. That's what I like. See, I like it but you know what? That's when the punk ass black leaders start coming in. You could tell when the punk ass black leaders come in and sit them down and talk to them and give them that mafia talk. Here's why you can tell. Because the parents be frustrated at first, ready to tear some shit down. Then all of a sudden, here come the black leaders. And then 2 or 3 weeks later, the parents is like, well, it's going to be okay. We all have to stick together. So it makes me think, do the black leaders come in and say, we're going to give you money, kick back, or we're going to do something? Or because every time it's the same playbook and no one's talking about that.
And I can guarantee you, you know, Erykah Badu said, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit. God damn it, I'm a mama and I'm sensitive about my kids. If you hurt my kids' feelings, my kids' feelings, I'm going to prop my kids up and I'm coming for your ass. But you physically hurt them? I'm going to hold hands and sing Kumbaya?
Well, you will after them black leaders touch on you. Because that's what it seemed like. Because every time I see the parents, remember in the Ferguson, the first time I seen his dad, he was like, oh, he was ready to tear some shit down. And all of a sudden, it's going to be okay with no need for violence. Fuck that shit.
But you know, I've met some. Those who are not in the middle of that media circus, I've met people who've lost their children that way and they become community activists. But you know what? You'll never know their name on the big screen, in mass media.
Well, because the media is only going to portray negativity with Manhattan Beach. Them motherfuckers protested because they ran out of beer. It was a big ass riot in Manhattan Beach, California.
Right.
That never hit the mainstream. You know why? It was all white people.
Well, you know, all the white people out there in Keene, New Hampshire, who were smashing pumpkins and tearing things over and flipping cars and burning cars. and going crazy. And their reason for doing it, because it's fun to break the law. That motherfucker said,
And you know when do they show peaceful protesters? When it's the white ones. Because this right now, it's a lot of white people protesting what happened to Eric, right? But this peaceful, they got their signs.
Are they standing out in the middle of the street and you see the officer come and put little... That was the funniest thing ever. The white lady standing out in the middle of the street with her arms up, and the officer comes and put little caution cones around her. He doesn't take her and handcuff her and put her off the street.
What does he do?
He put the little caution cones, the little orange caution cones, so that the cars could safely drive around her.
Protecting white.
Did you see that?
You saying they were protecting white?
Did you see that? Did you see that?
No, but I bet you Charles Barkley seen that.
No, he didn't.
Well, he protect whites.
Maybe he saw it out of his left eye.
These people, what gets me, whenever the celebrities get involved with these protests or the experts, as they say, they're always bringing up economics. I don't like that because black people have had economic issues forever, but we don't never had the issues we having today. So, and then there's poor white people. How come we don't see poor white people in meth? Did we ever see any white people get shot on Breaking Bad? Because it was some drug dealers on there. I mean, Jesse was losing his fucking mind. Jesse would have been shot dead if he'd have been black man. With that attitude, and he was a crackhead.
And the worst he got was he got beat up, huh? Coming to the he came to the cop's house,
but only when they made it personal. Now, if he'd have been black, the cop would have shot him just for looking at his shoes. But not until he called his kids. Remember, he called his wife. That's when
it got personal.
Personal. See, it's a reason for when y'all do wrong. Ooh, y'all so special and sweet. Aren't they special and sweet?
Well, I give them
white
special.
is right.
I give them special.
I mean, how many brothers and sisters we gonna let just keep floating around, getting murdered? How long is this gonna go on?
The thing of it is, too, though, it's so much bigger than simply saying, this white cop killed a black guy or a black kid. We've seen, and that's one of the things that has really upset me. The conversation about either black on black crime or the number of black police officers.
Well, that's their little trick in the media.
Is irrelevant. It's irrelevant.
But you know what, though? That's what we're going to start seeing. Now all these stories coming out, especially the story in New York, because even though there was a minor criminal element to it, him selling cigarettes. Come on, really? How many bootleg white dudes be out there selling all kind of stuff, and that never happens to them? Now we're going to start seeing reports about black crime. You know how every time I say what's going to happen, it's going to happen. In every community, even in punk-ass Ventura County, California, where the most racist place in the world right now. Had to throw that in there.
You had to throw that in there. One other thing I did want to mention about the officer in New York. Now, kind of to his... Is
he single? Because he's going to be married in the next 2 weeks.
No, I think...
Because ain't that what them young dudes do? They shoot a black... They kill a black man, then they get married.
What? That's like the you know
that's
how the
trophy.
Is that like the suicide bombers? They say if they die, they gonna have 100 virgins on the other side, so they whatever.
Oh, he's sad.
No, this is
sad
horrible.
for life now.
But
he go
you
to
know
the
what?
club. He gonna go to the club. Them girls gonna be like, "Ooh, you killed somebody."
Wow, that's
with
horrible.
your bare hands. Come on, man.
That's fucking horrible.
Ain't it sad? Because Zimmerman, he wasn't married, and he got married 2 weeks later.
It's all bad.
The dude in Ferguson, he wasn't married. And then he got married a month later after he killed the young brother.
No, you know what? He probably won't get married again because here's the difference between this guy and Zimmerman. Both Zimmerman and Wilson were both like, oh, I'd do it again, or I don't have any regrets, I'd do it again. This guy has said that, he's sorry that the dude is dead.
Choker.
The choker. He's sorry that Garner's dead. But
he better show some sympathy because he was in the wrong. Once he wasn't saying that probably till he seen that video was out there.
But he had 3 other suits filed against him before this from mistreatment of black minorities.
Whoa.
before this ever happened, that
So
the
he was
city
just-
of New York has settled and given money to these people.
You don't hear that in the media reports.
You don't hear that in the media reports. You know where you hear that? Overseas, because the whole world is watching this. The other
And they don't give a fuck. The world don't give a fuck.
the other thing that people need to know, the other thing that people need to know is what's his name? Ramsey.
Because he was suspended with pay to do it in New York. Maybe that's why he apologized. They probably say, if you say you pay, if you don't say you're sorry, we'll just suspend you. But if you say you're sorry, we'll suspend you with pay. I'll do that shit with pay. Shit.
Ramsey ordered the man who actually videotaped this whole thing.
Oh, it's an individual.
Yeah, there were a couple of actually people who had their cell phones, but the one that everybody saw, his name was Ramsey Order.
Oh, he got a name?
Yeah. And you know the only reason we know his name? Because he's the only person who's been indicted since July 17th when Garner died. They indicted him on gun charges, and they didn't even find guns.
They're probably
They
trying
didn't
to
even
make him
find
give
the
up that
guns
video. Was
on
he a
him.
brother?
Yeah, of course. They didn't find the gun on him. They said that he gave the gun to a teenager. He may or may not. I'm not saying his guilt or innocence in that, but it's really strange that the only person who's
like, what's his
indicted
name
in
in
this
Ferguson?
involved in this case.
The only person who was charged was getting ready to come up was Mike Brown's stepfather. They said he was inciting riots, but all of a sudden they was getting ready to arrest him for all kind of other criminal charges.
And did you see that the
America, what part of the game y'all don't understand? I'm gonna say this.
I gotta
and know
say
y'all ain't
one
gonna
other
handle this.
thing.
Yeah,
Go
because
ahead.
what you gonna say? Because man, I'm finna say.
Say it.
America ain't never been good or great. They always talking about how great America is. Tell me when America been great. Okay, let's go 400 years. Oh, it was wonderful for y'all.
Oh,
60
wait
years
a minute,
ago.
wait a minute,
Have you ever
wait a
heard of
minute.
Jim Crow? You heard
Wait
of
a
him?
minute. You said 400 years ago? You
It
mean
ain't never been great.
You mean like around the time of the Revolution and the Boston Tea Party? Oh yeah, they call it a Boston Tea Party, but excuse me, that was a bunch of white guys dressed up as Indians destroying property to what? Protest taxes.
And that makes a party for them. But if it had been a bunch of black guys dressed up, come on, man.
Even then they dressed
What
up.
part
Even
of it?
then they
I just
dressed
wanna
up
talk
as
to white
minority.
America right now. Can I talk to white America right now? I know y'all love America. And it's just an isolated incident in y'all mind because you guys don't see the stories where a young, innocent black man just walking home from college get killed by a police officer. See, you don't hear about them stories. A young black woman being raped by a gang of white. You don't hear the story unless it's some kind of criminal element. She a stripper, or there's some kind of crime involved. You don't hear those stories. So you don't have the compassion we have. Like, I guarantee you would never find a white person who's been pulled over 5 times in one day. I have. See, they want us to look at these isolated incident, but it's too many.
It's too many to look at it in ice. And here's another thing that not even just white America, but the whole side of he was doing a criminal act is looking at it from
Selling cigarettes against the law. He could have just been giving them people cigarettes. I can't buy a pack of cigarettes, right? And there's 20 cigarettes that come in a pack. And let's just say cigarettes is $1.
But
we
in
know
New
it's
York,
more.
in New York, they like $9,
right?
$10.
They like $9 or whatever, right? Let's just say, but let's just say they're $1 pack of cigarettes, right? And it's 20 in a pack, or whatever, right? So what's that? 5 times 20,
Okay, I give you that.
right? Ain't that 100?
Mm-hmm,
right,
something like that.
Right. So you telling me I can't sell my neighbor 2 of my cigarettes for 10 cents? Huh?
But you have to charge them taxes.
If my neighbor come begging me for cigarettes all the time, and I used to give them to him free, and now I said, fuck that, man. Cigarettes too expensive. I can't sell my neighbor 2 cigarettes. I gotta lose my life over that shit. This man lost his life selling cigarettes, man.
Equated to this.
But we're gonna find out it was crack in the cigarettes later on once the media get done.
Equated to this, though. Equated to this for everybody who says, okay, this is a criminal activity. I was talking to someone who, in all honesty, is not a bad person. In all honesty, I'm going to look at them as a good.
Is their name Charles Barkley?
No.
Oh, okay.
A good-hearted person who looked at this issue from the other side of the coin. I'll leave it like that. Say the other side of the coin.
They must be broke.
No. And their thing was, it's not a racial thing. If you're really raising yourself right or certain values, blah 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 blah, wah 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 wah.
I know, because I got a college degree.
It would
pulled over
be
all the time.
okay.
What the hell? But go ahead.
So that was pretty much my point too. And speaking to this,
But
person.
that's their whole percent. They dumb. They been conditioned